program going forward, having one of them, just, talk about Barry and, that accomplishment?
Obviously, being a McDonald's All-American is really the highest recognition and the highest honor you can get as a high school basketball player. So could not be, more happy for Barry and her family, because just the type of person she is, the type of worker she is, how she goes about her business. She's just elite in all those areas, very humble. Calling her yesterday and being able to hear her reaction and how surprised she was. It wasn't something she probably even expected. So just, her attitude on everything. She's just unbelievable person, unbelievable player. Can't wait to get her here and get her, on campus and a part of our team.
An accomplishment like that, do you use that at all in the recruiting trail to kind of show that, Illinois brings in McDonald's All-American?
I just think it's something that speaks to the work our staff has done, since really day one. If you think about it, looking back, we're only in year 2. And I think after some of the success of last year, sometimes people may forget that. And, the kids that we've been able to bring in and to recruit, and obviously getting Barry and someone of her caliber, to commit to Illinois. And some of the other kids we had that committed, before we even won a game here. I think it just shows, again, credit to our staff for their hard work and relationship building. And now hopefully our goal and our vision is to continue to bring in, elite players like Barry and like everyone else that, are highly recruited, highly ranked, and just great basketball players, obviously, but more importantly, fit our culture and have high character and just really elite workers.
Just what have you seen offensively, the growth over the last couple of weeks? And obviously when you score 80 at Maryland, you're pretty much expecting to have a really good chance to win the game.
I said the same thing. If you told me we're going to score 80 against Maryland, right, and I'd feel really good about our chances. It's just, I give Maryland a lot of credit. I watched pretty much every game they played this year, and I think that was the best they've played. They were coming off a loss at home, and we know how hard it is to play at Maryland. They've only lost a handful of games in Brenda's tenure there. So they were ready to go, and they've made shots. Kids that weren't making shots made shots. And so I didn't think our defensive execution of our game plan was how crisp it had been, the previous 4 or 5 games. But our offense, again, from going at Nebraska only scoring 48 points to now at Maryland scoring 80, whatever it was, we're on the right track. We just got to be able to put 40 minutes together at both ends. In this league, you have to put 40 minutes together, offense and defense, if you're going to be in a position to get some of these big wins.
Just the challenge that Ohio State presents. Obviously, they're a team that's, they're a high steal team. What do you kind of look at when you look at that matchup against them?
Yeah, they're really good. Obviously, they just coming off that big win against Iowa, and just top to bottom, their squad, they just present so many different problems, offensively, defensively. Number one, we have to take care of the basketball. We were up 23 at their place last year, and then the waves of their pressure come, and then they ramped up that pressure in the third quarter and really made us pay for that. So number one, take care of the basketball, and be able to break the press initially, and then transition from press break into offense. They want to take you out of your rhythm. So that's going to be really key. And then obviously we got to defend, because they can beat you in so many ways. They really try to spread you. So you're so worried about the press, but then you're also like, shoot, I got to guard, Cody McMahon, JC Sheldon, and the list goes on and on. So they present a lot of problems.
Throughout the season, you guys have dealt with a few different injuries from a few different players, and now losing Jada. Is it difficult to coach when constantly having to kind of adjust who's on the floor together, and is it tough to get in a rhythm when it's like that?
To be honest, yeah, but that's part of this game, and it's part of basketball, it's part of sports, so there's no excuses. Other teams are dealing with it as well, but it's just been a challenging season in a lot of those ways. We really haven't had our same lineup since the beginning. But that's my job, to try to figure that out and continue to get our team together and to go out there and to compete on the floor. But yeah, I'd be lying to you if I said it hasn't been a challenge. But I give our team a lot of credit. We've continued to fight, to stay together. We know we're getting better, even though some of the wins aren't coming. We're making progress. And we just got to keep on that path. We just got to continue to work and stay focused on the day.
Maybe, just playing Camille and Kendall together, maybe not sure before the season if that was going to work. I remember maybe you having a conversation about that, but it's obviously has worked.
Yeah.
How much has that been a surprise maybe for you, and what have you maybe seen from how that's developed in terms of challenging other teams?
Yeah, I think a lot of it, especially with, someone new in our program, it takes time. And I even, I think Brad had said it the other day, it takes time, or some coach had said it, I was listening about their new kids and their transfers, about 10 to 12 games are in, we're about, 17 in, like you can see Hobby's continue to progress. She understands, okay, now this is what they want defensively. This is how I fit in the system. And I think right now she's playing at an elite level. So I'm really proud of her and the process she's taken and just the steps of day-to-day continuing to get better. And also matchups. In our non-conference, it was hard matchups because we played so many smaller teams that it was hard defensively to match up when there was 4 guards. In the Big Ten, we're able to match up pretty well with a lot of people, and KB's getting more confident in her guarding a perimeter player, and I'm getting more confident in watching her have success with it. So I think a lot of it's just kind of part of the process to it. Now you wish you had Hobby for longer, right? You wish you had her for next year, and that's some of the frustrations of a grad transfer just 1 year. It takes some time to get comfortable and to get in that rhythm together.
Is there something you have to do in terms of making that transition easier, or is it just something that's like it just takes time, like you're mentioning?
I think both ends. This is my first grad transfer, 5th year, so I know I've learned from this too, and so going forward, if we have another one, you won't have as many now with the COVID years running out. But I'm sure looking back now, I could do things differently, and that's always hindsight. But some of it does. Some of it just takes time. It's like a freshman. You can try to expedite the learning curve and expedite the process. A lot of it's experience. A lot of it's gain minutes together. And that's where I think the biggest thing is with someone, you can see it in Gretchen, you can see it in Hobby. Every game, she just gets more comfortable in what we're doing. I get more comfortable and confident, and the trust grows both ways. So I think some of it, you can't expedite experience. And that's the biggest thing when it comes to college basketball. You got to have experience.
All good?
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.